Last time on Delightful Travelers, we arrived in the Philippines. It's the first time we're back in over 3 years, and honestly, it feels surreal to be here. In this video, we're checking out more of Cebu City, and while exploring, we can't help but notice how everything has changed.
I'm Trevor, and this is Anna. Welcome to our brand new series here in the Philippines. Make sure to hit subscribe and click the like button so you don't miss a single video. A huge thanks to our channel members and patrons for making these videos possible. This is Cebu City.
I'm on my way now.
Today we're going to be talking about how the Philippines has changed, at least how it has changed for us, because last time we were here it was under very different circumstances.
And we are still in Cebu City. In this video we're going to be exploring a little bit more of what we did not see in the last video. Maybe we'll be eating some stuff as well. So if you have not watched the last video, very important to go back and watch it because we give you a lot of context about why we're here, about our history here, also what our plans are for our full month here in Cebu in the Philippines.
It is loud here, huh?
Yeah, we're kind of in the busy part. I think this is like the business sector of the city around Ayala Mall.
Yeah, we're close to the mall again, and you can see all this traffic this way. Yeah, the city though, it's really pretty, very modern and developed, and that's something we're going to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
So first off, we have to bring up just how big this city is, how much bigger it is than we thought, huh?
Yeah, I know. I guess I didn't really know what to expect. I watched a few videos on it, knew a little bit, but in general, I didn't realize there's so many different areas of the city, that it was really developed. Like you walk everywhere and you see all these brands that you know, there's huge buildings, also some like more rundown areas as well, but it's 100%. Like a bunch of different sectors in the city. And even like when we're searching for something, I was like, oh, that doesn't look far away on the map, so then you map it and you're like, oh, it's like a 50 minute walk, and maybe not.
So that's just some of the things that come to mind, because remember, for us, kind of our memories of the Philippines are being trapped in El Nido on a beautiful, gorgeous beach, and this is quite the change. I mean, we are in a massive city that is very modern and it's very beautiful.
I think for those of you that have never been to the Philippines or to Southeast Asia, you might, when you think of it, either think of a lot of beaches or kind of like slums in the big cities, but it's so developed here. There's actually constant development happening. You might be able to hear construction now. There are cranes literally all over the place. I'm gonna guess that in the past 10-ish years, this city has probably changed exponentially. Maybe people in the comments that are from here can let us know. And I'm gonna guess, just based on the amount of construction that's happening now, that in the next few years it's gonna be a lot different as well.
Well, you know us, we are hungry and we found this great little cafe because we're looking for some breakfast, a Filipino breakfast, and it's been a while, you guys, since we've had something like this. Now, it's been a few years, I should be more specific, but this is called Chosilog. Now, we were trying to remember if we had that in the past. I'm not sure if we did, but it looks great. This is actually sausage that's kind of ground up. I think it's called like bangkag. I think that's like the Filipino word. You can see some egg, and there's some very special rice down there. We'll talk about that rice. And I think banana.
So as Trevor just said, this is called Chosilog, and the reason it's called that is because it's made with chorizo. So it's like, I guess the breakfasts are kind of called silogs, which I think mean maybe rice and egg. The person here told us log means egg, I believe. Someone can correct us if I'm totally off here. We used to have at breakfast back in lockdown days, long silog, which I think was made with sausage, and tap silog, which was some sort of beef sausage?
I think it was beef,
yeah. So basically, this is maybe a new one for us, as Trevor said. I don't know if we actually had it with chorizo, but it comes with garlic rice, with some bananas on the side, and then fried eggs on the top. I think I have a little bit of everything here. Can I tell you how excited I am for garlic rice? I know it sounds really basic, and I'm sure I can make garlic rice at home, but I don't. And you don't really see it in other places, but it's so good in my memory anyway. My goodness. That just honestly tastes like nostalgia to me. I know if you didn't watch our last video, you might not know the history of us getting locked down in El Nido for months and months and months. And for a long time, we couldn't even leave our hotel. So we'd have something like this for breakfast a few times a week, and it just, whoa, it just takes me back. I love garlic rice. Going back, I'm gonna keep talking about this. It's so good, it's so simple, it's so delicious. Got the egg. I need to try the chorizo again because I only had a tiny little piece of that. Oh wow, that's incredible. It's a little bit sweet. I'm not surprised because Filipinos definitely like sweet things. It's almost like candied chorizo, so it's salty and sweet at the same time.
All right, she sold me, you guys. Whoa. Oh. Oh. I forgot how much I needed this in my life. Well, I think it's safe to say one thing that has not changed is the food. It's still delicious. Spoiler alert. This is awesome, you guys. Honestly, one of my favorite breakfast dishes you can get, and it's a typical Filipino dish. All it does is make me want to try more. We have a whole entire month here to try different kinds of breakfast, but yeah, I forgot how much I needed this in my life. Another thing that has changed for us, at least this time in the Philippines, is there's no masks or curfews or restrictions this time, you guys. I mean, again, last time we were here, it was very different circumstances, and yeah, we had to follow all those rules, of course, which we did. But this time, we have freedom. Like, we have complete freedom to do whatever we want to do in this beautiful country, and that feels really great.
So if you're wondering about like flying in and what the restrictions are there, or if there's anything you have to do, this is March 2023. So if you're watching this in the future, be sure to do your own research because things change all the time. But we basically each had to fill out an online form. You have to upload the certificate with like 2 doses. I think it's 2 doses they require. I'm not sure about testing if you don't have that, but you can look that up yourself. And basically you upload that, you put in all your information, where you're staying, your flights and all that stuff, and you get a QR code. And then when you get off your plane, right before you go into immigration, there's a little spot to scan your QR code.
All right.
Easy peasy.
Well, should we take them to another part of the city?
Let's do it.
Welcome to IT Park. This is the area that we heard about the most when we came to Cebu City, huh?
Yeah, this seems to be the area that if you look up like where to stay, or like the most modern, the best areas to stay in Cebu, this seems to be the newest and the coolest place to be. I think a lot of people live here. There's a lot of condos, sidewalks, like it feels very modern.
It's very interesting because to get here you actually go through some of the older parts of the city, and there's like a divide. You just get to this new part, you might be able to see a sign behind me. There's like another mall back there. So
I think the city is actually full of many
malls. Filipinos like their malls, but I mean, take a look just what's around us. There's so many high-rises, and they all seem brand spanking new.
There's no shortage of restaurants and cafes, and probably everything you want here. I think there's some bars. I think there's a rooftop bar, funny enough. So I think a lot of people come here and like live and work and stay and play in this area. I think it is a work day. Sometimes, you know, as a full-time traveler, you kind of forget what day of the week it is. It's a work day, so I bet you in a couple of hours from now, it'll get really, really busy around here. They do have all sorts of brands here as well. People from outside the Philippines, maybe you wouldn't know that, maybe you would, but they have everything here. Funny enough, fun fact for you fellow Canadians, in Manila and throughout parts of Southeast Asia and the Middle East, we've seen lots of Tim Hortons.
Yeah, well, some people might not know what Tim Hortons is, right?
But Canadians will.
So for those of you that don't know what Tim Hortons is, it's kind of like a Dunkin' Donuts for those of you from the States, except it's like Canada's thing. But here's the real thing. It's kind of bad coffee, in my opinion. Don't hate me, Canada, don't hate me. I just think there's lots of better coffee options in Canada. I don't even consider Tim Hortons coffee. And there's amazing coffee options here in the Philippines.
So in general, I'd say crossing the road here, not too bad, surprisingly.
It's pretty chilled out. And we should talk about the reason like why we came over to this area in general, huh?
Well, one being that we are going to be jumping in and out of the city quite a lot throughout the month, because we are going to, well, we sort of hinted in this video or the last video, I don't even remember, that we're going to an island next.
Yes.
And then we're going to another island later on in the month, and we're still trying to figure out the rest of our itinerary, but we're going to be in and out of the city a couple of times. So the question is, next time do we want to stay here?
Our initial thoughts is we stay here. It's way quieter, very modern. We have places like this behind me. I think it's called the Park Social. It looks like a beer garden, so we might have to check that out. And there's just interesting buildings around. There's also some kind of like triangular building straight ahead of us that you're about to see.
Okay, we got close up to it and it's really not that cool. It's actually quite dirty and everything. I don't know what this is. Is it a greenhouse or something?
It's odd that it's in the middle of like all these really nice buildings. Clearly it was something. Maybe it's being renovated?
Oh, maybe. Hopefully it turns into something, because it's really cool looking.
Another thing we've just been discussing about this area is it seems like a good place to live. If you were going to live in the city, this seems to have it all. It's a nice little green park over there, and if you guys don't know, we've been kind of traveling the world looking for different places to live. So that's one of the reasons we're actually back in the Philippines, not just for the gorgeous landscape.
We've actually been trying to do some like slower travel and staying in one place for months or a month at a time at least, we're kind of failing at that here in Cebu just because there's so many places we want to go see.
Yeah.
So staying in one place for a full month we wouldn't get to see as much
What I
as we
like-
want to. But in the future, this could
Yeah.
be a potential place.
What I like about Cebu so far is we know that to get to beaches, it seems to be only an hour or 2-hour drive to different places. And I think in Manila, I don't know if that's the case. Correct us
Yeah.
if we're wrong. So it's just interesting to compare the two cities if we were coming longer than say 1 month. If we want to come back again on our next trip for maybe 3 months, where would we set up shop in the Philippines? Question for you guys. All right, we're just coming by a little kind of a markety pop-up shop place here at a bus station.
Yeah, there's a really big bus station here. I'm guessing there's a lot of people that like work in this area and then probably live in different areas, but they can pop by, get a little treat, and then hop on the bus before they head home for the day. Speaking of like living in the cities, well, obviously a lot of people in the Philippines live in the cities, but a lot of people that don't think about the Philippines in terms of like the nature and how beautiful the beaches are and like waterfalls. That's kind of what comes to mind probably when you think about the Philippines. But the cities themselves are really, really interesting. We loved Manila as well. I think when you come to the city, if you find the right area, you're really gonna like it.
So what we're trying to say is don't skip the big cities. At least give them like a day or two, because I think you're going to find it a great combination between the beautiful nature of the Philippines and this modern city. We're really liking it.
We are, and I think it's also good, like you were saying, spend a day or two. You probably want to anyway, because it seems like every place that you want to go to from Cebu City is like a good 3 hours in each direction.
It
so
is.
you might want to take a break.
And here's a fun little fact. When we got here, we liked it so much we actually extended our stay. And I don't think a lot of people say that about Cebu City. By that extended our stay, I mean right here in the city, because we're having a lot of fun. Plus we wanted to stock up on some items like clothing and, well, tech gear. Yeah, the pace of development in this city must be just out of this world. We really want you guys to kind of chime in and let us know, like, how old is this area? It feels to us pretty new, but right now we're looking for like a place to get a drink or like a beer garden, and I think we might have found it. Scratch that, we took a complete wrong turn. That's not where we're going, so now we're gonna try to find the place, well, a different place I should say. All right, we came over to a place called Park Social, and this is the place we walked by earlier. We got a beer to drink, a San Miguel Light, because we're really liking these. What's funny is this place, the Park Social, I think is kind of like the sister restaurant to the Social, which is what we were at in the last video. We didn't know that. The waitress just told us. But speaking of what she just told us, we asked her, like, what does IT Park stand for? Like, that's the neighborhood we're in, this new development. We also asked her, like, how old is it, because it feels kind of new, and she said it is fairly new, within the last, I think, 10 years or so. She thought maybe 5 to 10 years, so that makes sense because it's super modern. And the reason it's called IT Park is it is to do with technology, I guess. There's a lot of call centers around here, but what I found the most fascinating is what used to be here. So we're walking around, I'm like, how did they get this enormous plot of land in the city? And turns out this is the former airport. Like, the Cebu airport used to be here, so that makes way more sense. Obviously there would have been all this empty space. They moved the airport further outside the city, so here we are having a beer where the old airport used to be, in a very modern part of Cebu.
Cheers to my second San Miguel Light. We had one in the video, I think, last video, I think Trevor just said that. I think this will be the second of many that we'll have over the course of a month. I love San Miguel Light. It's probably one of my favorite like domestic type beers. It's just like nice and light, good with a lime in it. A good go-to, and I've missed it for sure. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about one thing that has not changed in the Philippines, and that is just how nice Filipino people are. Oh my goodness. I'm sure lots of people that have met Filipinos around the world know that they're really friendly and happy and just like the nicest people, but when you get here, you're a little bit like almost overwhelmed with how nice people are, in a good way, of course. Like, our server just came over and talked to us for probably a good 10 minutes, and she was interested in what our channel is. That's another kind of funny thing about the Philippines, is that a lot of people watch YouTube here. So a lot of people inevitably know what you're doing when they see the camera, and they'll come over and they'll ask you about the channel. It's a good thing and a bad thing, because in other countries, people just look at you like you're completely nuts. They have no idea what you're doing. Here in the Philippines, everybody knows, like, you're a vlogger and you're making a video.
So, if you're watching this and you're like, when are you going to the beautiful beaches in the Philippines? It's happening in the next video. We are leaving Cebu, like, basically tomorrow, and we're going to somewhere beautiful. We're gonna pray to the weather gods that we're gonna get the weather that we're after, and we honestly cannot wait.
Here, do you want to tell them what island we're going to?
Should we tell them, or should we make them wait? No, we're gonna tell you guys. So a lot of you would not have heard of where we are going, but I think if there's any Filipinos watching, which hopefully there are, you guys will probably know. We're going to Bantayan Island. I gotta get the pronunciation right. Bantayan Island. It's at the very north of Cebu. It's a pretty big island here. I think it's about what, a 2.5 hour drive away?
2.5 hour drive and then like an hour or so ferry to get there. It's gonna be a big travel day, but we'll pick you up when we get there, hopefully on a beautiful beach.
Yeah, the beaches look really, really dreamy, and we can't wait. So it's gonna be very different than these last two videos. Huge contrast, going from a big city to a very sleepy little beach village.
And I hope some people will be excited that we're going to probably an island that you might not have heard of before.
Yeah, I don't think it's one of the more popular touristic islands, so we can't wait. That's what we came back here for, and it's about to happen again, and it's gonna be so exciting. So if you guys got this far in the video and you're like, who are you? It's Trevor and Anna, delightful travelers. Hit the subscribe button, click the thumbs up, it just really helps us out. Heck, leave us a comment. We hope you're enjoying the series so far. Lots more videos to come.
Lots more. We also want to say a huge thank you to our channel members and our Patreons. We love each and every one of you, but those people, there's a lot of beeping happening right now.
Basically, big thanks to our channel members and our patrons, because you guys help support us for what we do. But for now, we're gonna finish our delicious San Miguel Light, make a few more plans, plan out the journey tomorrow, and we will see you in the next destination.
All right, guys, that's it.
From Cebu, wishing you delightful travels.
See you soon.